2.2c, creating equivalent fractions. Fractions that represent the same amount are called equivalent fractions. So you may have noticed that some fractions are actually the same thing. So here's an example real quick. Let's draw a couple of bars like we did before. So we have this here, and we have this bar just cut into different sections, right? So this bar is cut into 2 pieces, and this bar is cut into 4 pieces. So if I shade half of this, the fraction represented here is 1 over 2, because one of them is shaded, so that's the numerator, and there are 2 total pieces to the bar, so 1/2. If I shade 2 of these, this is now 2 over 4, because 2 of the pieces are shaded over 4 total pieces, right? And if you notice the side-by-side comparison, though, they're the exact same amount. 1/2 is actually the same as 2/4. So these are an example of an equivalent fraction. We can create an equivalent fraction by multiplying numerator, top, and denominator, bottom, by the same number. So 1/2, if you notice, if we multiply the top and bottom by 2, 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So we can see that this is an equivalent fraction. 2/4 and 1/2 are the same. Let's think about whether this is a legal move or not, multiplying top and bottom by the same number. So if I had 1/2 and I multiplied top and bottom by 2, so let's write this out again. Well, let's look at this fraction. I'm multiplying by this. What is this? 2 over 2. 2 over 2 is just 2 divided by 2, right? Which is 1. So in reality, I'm just multiplying by 1, right? So this is a legal move. Anything multiplied by 1 is just itself. So in effect, we're doing nothing. We're just changing the way we're representing the number. Instead of writing it out of 2 whole pieces, now we're breaking it into 4 whole pieces, but it's the same amount. So let's go to an example. Find 3 equivalent fractions for 1/3. So let's write out 1/3. Let's multiply top and bottom by 2. There's one way to get an equivalent fraction. So this is 1 times 2 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. So 2 over 6 is an equivalent fraction. Now let's multiply top and bottom by 3, right? 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So 3/9 is an equivalent fraction. And let's multiply 1/3 by 4 and 4. 1 times 4 is 4, and 3 times 4 is 12. So it turns out 1/3, 2/6, 3/9, and 4/12 are all the same thing. These are all the same fraction, representing the same amount of things. They look totally different, and you might not even expect that 4 over 12 would be the same as 1 over 3, but they represent the same amount of things. So let's go to another example. So your boss measures a bolt with calipers and reports to you that it is 6 over 8 inches. Out of the 4 wrenches in front of you, which do you bring him? So you need to bring your boss the right wrench, and he gave you the measurement 6 over 8. 6 over 8, right? So we have 2/3 inches, 3/8 inches, 3/4 inches, and 3/16 inches. So we notice that 6 and 8 can both be divided by 2. If we did the opposite, kind of thinking backwards, and this would be 3 over 4, right? So 3/4 is an equivalent fraction to 6 over 8. So not only can we multiply by the same amount, we can also divide by the same amount. Those are both legal moves. And this is kind of thinking backwards. This is working backwards, the division. So the answer would be C, 3 over 4 inches. So you'd bring him that wrench, and it would work on the 6 over 8 inch bolt because they're the same exact measurement. They have the same width.